Alright, so what's good, everybody? As you know, my name is Trevor. Um, a few months ago, I stated on my Instagram story for those who watch it. If you don't watch it, oh well, you're seeing it now, you're hearing about it now. I said I was gonna post up my genealogy results for my paternal side of the family. Paternal means father, if you didn't know. So my father's from Jamaica, one of the Great Antilles or the Caribbean, West Indies, whichever you prefer. Uh, the original name of the island is actually called Zemaka, or if you want to call it Yamaka. Me personally, I like Zemaka. Sounds cooler to me. But you know, uh, yeah. So said I would show my results. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'll take y'all over here. This PDF document right here that I was sent to me. You see right here, it says genealogical research update. As you see here, time spent, I set it to 35 hours. That's what I, told them to do. 35 hours of research. I think this was the maximum amount, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, before I, go deeper into this, I was able to get, to this, you know, acquire this, my results from my genealogy, thanks to Locono Empire. If you don't know who he is, he goes in, a lot about the history of the islands. Just, not just the islands, it's just, American Indian, history in general. But the islands especially, how it all ties in, etc., etc. This is Locono Empire. You see his Instagram page. If you go to his links, you see everything that he has there. His YouTube channel. He has a clothing brand too. I see he has a book out. I have his book. You see on my books over there that I read sometimes. I have his book. It's somewhere in there. But it's a good book. You can show it to your children. Those of you who are from the Caribbean, from the islands, teach them. Teach them their, their origins and their history. So this is the website here for Jamaican genealogy. This is one of them though. There's many of them that you can, that you can find. There's hold on. There. This. If you go to familysearch.org, see Jamaican genealogy. You just click these links, give you resources, you can go here too. I haven't used this one yet, but I might see what I can get from here. I'll go into that later. But this is one of the sources you can use. Take your genealogy from the islands, anywhere where you're from, it don't matter. So I'm gonna go back to here, document. So I'm gonna read it. I'm not gonna show. I'm gonna show everything, but I'm not gonna go too deep into things that are little minuscule things that don't need too much explanation. So this is dear Mr. Hannigan, genealogical research. It's a background summary. The information initially presented was the client's father, Grayson Paul Hannigan. That's my dad. Was born on March 23rd, 1973, in the Port Maria Hospital in the parish of St. Mary to mother Vandi Wilali Dixon. This is my grandmother, my dad's mom. Additionally, Wilali was born on November 3rd, 1941, Comfort Hall, Manchester. The client has authorized 35 hours for research into his paternal ancestry. I already said that. So the objective, to trace the paternal ancestry of Trevor Ferdinand Hannigan as far back as possible. So these are the resources, as you can see here, the findings. So I'm gonna read the first one. consolidated database to find the birth entries of Grayson Paul Hannigan and his siblings. No independent database to find the marriage entry of Ferdinand Hannigan and Evadne Dixon. So if this person here, Ferdinand Hannigan, this is my grandfather. So it's my dad's dad. And Evadne Dixon, this is her last name before she married my grandfather. So the next one says consolidated database to find the birth entries of Ferdinand Hannigan and his siblings. Consolidated database to find the death entries of Ferdinand Hannigan and Evadne Hannigan. No impediment database to find the marriage entries of Elijah Hannigan and Princess Gordon. I'll get into these two people later. Consolidated database to find the death entries of Elijah Hannigan and Princess Gordon. St. Mary Birth Index 1890 to 1927 to find the birth entries of Princess Gordon and her siblings. St. Anne Birth Index 1893 to 1898 to find the birth entry of Elijah Hannigan. No impediment database to find the marriage entry between Matthew Alexander Gordon, Ellen Dennis. No impediment database to find the marriage entry of Evadne Eulalie Dixon and groom surnamed White. Consolidated database to find the birth entries of Evadne Eulalie Dixon and her siblings. No impediment database to find the marriage entry of Jocelyn Dixon and Evelyn Hibbert. Consolidated database to find the death entries of Jocelyn Dixon and Evelyn Hibbert. Manchester Birth Index 1912 to 1916 in the registration district of Comfort Hall to find the birth entry of Evelyn Hibbert. No impediment database to find the marriage entries of Ferdinand Hannigan as father of the bride/groom. No impediment database to find the marriage entries of Elijah Hannigan as father of a bride/groom. So basically, these are just like quick summaries, about some of my family members, what they get and what they find. So you'll see the product of that below. So genealogical research update. Summary of findings. The subject, Trevor Ferdinand Hannigan, is the son of Grayson Paul Hannigan, the grandson of Ferdinand Bibbs Hannigan, and the great-grandson of Elijah Hannigan. The researchers note, there we go here, please note that all spelling of names is presented as they appear on record. So here we go, my grandfather, Ferdinand Bibbs Hannigan. Paternal grandfather was born out of wedlock on July 27th, 1934, in Retreat, St. Mary to mother, Princess Gordon. He was, however, registered at birth as Ferdinand. I'm busy.
Huh?
I'm busy doing something.
I'm gonna eat anyway.
Alright. Sorry about that. Where is it? Where was it left off? Alright. So, yeah, without a surname. So that's what he was just put down as my grandfather. Ferdinand married Evadne Eulalie White Nee Dixon. So this is my grandmother. On March 31st, 1970, at the Trinity Moravian Church, St. Andrew. The union produced at least 2 children, namely Michelle and Marie Hannigan, this is my aunt, and Grayson Paul Hannigan. The marriage record indicates that Elijah Hannigan is the name of Ferdinand's father. Uh, this is my great grandfather. The findings also indicate that Ferdinand may have fathered another child, namely Elijah Eel Hannigan, with another partner, Ferdinand. So this is my excuse me, this is my uncle with another partner. Ferdinand died a retired jeweler at age 65 years on May 23rd, 2001 in White River, Ocho Rios, St. Anne as a result of cerebral vascular accident. Elijah Hannigan. So sometimes you see it like with your family. Sometimes they'll write down, or not them, well sometimes them, but sometimes it might be the person that you're talking to. Sometimes they might write your name down differently. So you see it's just Hennigan, but the normal way you usually know it as is Hannigan. So right here you see a different name. So sometimes when you're researching things, you might want to try different spellings. But then again, sometimes if you have someone do it for you, then they'll do it for you. But it's just a note. So you want be mindful of that. So Elijah Hannigan, paternal. They messing up. Paternal great grandfather died a bachelor at age 61 years on September 5th, September 5th, 1956 at Davistown, Ocho Rios, St. Anne. He was a laborer by profession. See, a laborer, you know what that means already. By profession, and he died as a result of hypertensive catastrophe, gastric ulcer. Uh, the informant at the time of registration was his son, Gladstone Hannigan. It is estimated from the death record that Elijah was born around 1895. However, the search for Elijah's birth record proved futile, and as a result, his parentage was not established. Yeah, so Gladstone was most likely my grandfather's brother, Ferdinand. So you see him as, some paternal great grandfather. This is his son Gladstone Hannigan. So this is my grand uncle. And over here it says the birth record proved futile as a result of his parentage was not established. So sometimes when you're doing genealogy, you might, run into little problems that you can't really get around. Some records might not be around, they might be gone, unfortunately, or so they say, you know. Because this, I didn't do the research myself. I asked the person to do it for me. So who knows? If I did it myself, maybe I could have found something. But you know, sometimes I'm busy. I don't got time to do things. So, but it is what it is. But I won't say that because it's not. It is what it is. You just try to find another way, around it to get what you can get. Because if not, then what's the point? Everything you did will be lost for nothing. So next here, Princess Gordon. This is my paternal great grandmother. This is Elijah Hannigan's wife, Princess Gordon. So together they had at least 10 children. Well, she had 10 children. I don't know if she had 10 children with my great grandfather, but she herself had 10 children. Were all born out of wedlock in Three Hills Retreat, St. Mary. So these are her children. First one is Ivan James, born September 16th, 1918. Asilin, she has no surname. I don't know, he, she. Sound like a feminine name, so I'm assuming this is a woman. But there's no surname in my record. But she was born, or he was born, whoever. She was born November 22nd, 1920. Wilbert, same thing. He was born July 2nd, 1923. A male child, no surname on record, born January 11th, 1930, and died in infancy January 17th, 1930. It is noteworthy that the informant at that time of registration was Reuben Gordon's uncle. This indicates that Reuben is the brother of Princess Gordon. So this is my great great grand uncle. No, not great great, just great grand uncle. Uh, Gladstone George, no surname on record. Born December 2nd, 1931, and got married as Gladstone George Hannigan. See, it goes back to the same thing I said. So he's spelled differently here. I don't know why it's spelled like this, but I might find out in the future. Hopefully, most likely I will. But that's how he spelled Hannigan, Hannigan like that. Ferdinand. This is my grandfather. Born on July 27th, 1934, and was married as Ferdinand Hannigan. Thomas, no surname on record, born August 16th, 1936, and died on October 17th, 1936, at age 2 months. He was registered at death as Thomas Gordon. So it's seeming like a lot of Gordon and Hannigan so far. Last names. Pearline Gordon, born March 28th, 1938, and got married on March 14th, 1975, as Pearline Hannigan. Again, spelled differently. Last name Hannigan. Gloria Hannigan, same thing again. Born April 18th, 1942, and died April 19th, 1942. The death was registered by Lulitha Gordon. Further search findings indicate that Lulitha is the sister of Princess Gordon. Corin Etilda Hannigan, born September 29th, 1943, and died January 22nd, 1949. So far it seems I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 dead grand uncles and aunts. So sometimes things happen, but it is what it is. Rest their soul. Hopefully, they doing alright. Additionally, the search did not yield the birth, death, or marriage entry of Princess Gordon. However, the search findings indicate that Princess was probably born to parents Matthew Alexander Gordon and Ellen Dennis, or to father, again, Matthew Alexander Gordon, and his unknown partner. So, I have some more work cut out for me here. I'm gonna try to see if I can go, back farther to who these people are. Princess Gordon, Matthew Alexander, same thing with Elijah. Evadne Eulalie White, formerly Dixon, now Hannigan. Paternal grandmother was born out of wedlock on November 3rd, 1941, in Comfort Hall, Manchester, to mother Evelyn Hibbert. She was, however, registered at birth as Evadne Eulalie without a surname. Evadne was married twice, and her marriage records indicate Jocelyn Dixon, or Jocelyn, as the name of her father. The search did not uncover a death entry for Evadne Hannigan. Um, uh, I'll just go into it. Well, people don't know, I don't put my business out on social media like that because I don't like that, you know. But I'll say this: my grandmother, she passed away not too long ago, like a year ago, passed away. So rest in peace to her. No, rest in power to her. Same thing for other people. I said, rest in peace, rest in power to them too. Like I said, I don't really post my business on social media because it's nobody's business. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't do things for trends and whatnot. It's disgusting, you know. But so next, Evelyn Hibbert, paternal great grandmother, died uh, a spinster at age 65 on June 5th, 1997, at the Spanish Town Public Hospital in the parish of St. Catherine. The death record indicates that Evelyn was born around 1912 in the parish of Manchester. The informant at the time of registration was Evadne Hannigan. The search did not uncover the birth entry of Evelyn Hibbert, and as a result, her parentage was not established. So this is Evelyn Hibbert, as I said before. Evelyn Hibbert, this is my grandmother's mother. Jocelyn Dixon, this is my grandmother's father, was stated as subject's paternal great grandfather from the marriage records of Evadne Eulalie Dixon, my grandmother. Excuse me. The search yielded several events in the name Jocelyn Dixon. However, the findings proved insufficient to establish a familial connection. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of fuzzy here, but I'll figure it out. Additional information, such as the names of siblings of Evelyn Hibbert and Elijah Hannigan, is requested to continue the quest. So I guess I have to find ex-family members, who their siblings is. Elijah Hannigan and Evelyn Hibbert. This is my father's grandfather, and this is uh, you know, my grandmother's mother. Hopefully, I can get those. We'll see what happens. So, here we'll go to the search results. Birth record of Louisa. No surname on record. Paternal great grandaunt. See here. Date of birth 17th. No, April 17th, 1897. Three Hills Retreat, St. Mary. Her mother, Ellen Dennis. She was a laborer. Father's name not stated. Informant, Mary Patterson. I don't know who this is, but she was present at birth. It's probably either a family member or a family friend, either or it could have been nurse or the midwives. When they go help the woman give birth, with one of them. Um, Read the record of Ezekiel Alexander. No surname on record. This is my paternal great granduncle. Date of birth, November 15th, 1902. In Three Hills Retreat, St. Mary. To Ellen Dennis, laborer. So same woman right here. Father not stated. The informant is Matthew Alexander Gordon. So this is my great grandmother's father. So this would be my great great grandfather. He was an occupier. I guess that's what his job was. I don't know what that is, but I'll find out. Um, who's next? All right. Marriage record of Matthew Alexander Gordon and Ellen Elizabeth Dennis. So my paternal great two times grandfather. So that means great great. So the date of marriage was March 1st, 1905. They got married at Three Hills Retreat, St. Mary. So Matthew Alexander Gordon was a bachelor. Ellen Elizabeth Dennis, she was a spinster. No, these are the conditions. My apologies, sorry. Uh, Here's the occupations. That's their conditions, as you can see. But you could read it, so you know I made a mistake. Don't worry about it. Groom's occupation. He was a laborer. She was a domestic. I guess she stayed at home. He was 28 years old and she was 26. Matthew lived at Charlestown, Three Hills, St. Mary, and Ellen lived at Three Hills, St. Mary. Uh, Matthew's father, Joseph Gordon. So this is my great 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 grandfather. Charles Dennis is Ellen's great great great. Uh, well, this is her father, but I guess this is also my same thing. You know, great 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 grandfather. The witnesses there at the marriage: Isaac Ephraim, I guess, Walker, and Rachel Augusta Dennis. So I guess she's related to Ellen. And the marriage officer is Frederick Edmonds. Uh, so I'm guessing rewriting this is some relative. I don't know who this is. It's either a friend or a relative, either or. So next, birth record of Cephas Nathaniel Gordon. So this is my great granduncle. So he was born June 18th, 1905, in Three Hills Retreat, St. Mary. Ellen Elizabeth Gordon, formerly Dennis. This is his mother's name. Father's name, Matthew Alexander Gordon. You already know who these people are. No further introductions. Birth record of Reuben Augustus Gordon, great grand uncle. He was born October 1st, 1907, in Three Hills. See here, see the parents. You know these people. These are siblings under these two. All these people so far. From these two anyway. Birth record of Lyndon Milton Gordon, another grand uncle. See, he was born, date, place. So Ellen Gordon, formerly Dennis, to Isaac. So Isaac Matthew Alexander Gordon. I guess Matthew went under the name Isaac for some reason. I don't know why. But there you go, Isaac. And the informant is Isaac Walker. So that, I don't know. Maybe this was an alias. See Isaac here. And if you want, go back over here. See Isaac Ephraim Walker. So I don't know. This is basically, two of the same people right here. And my great grandfather is going under His alias, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Eugenia Matilda Gordon is my great grand aunt. This is when she was born. This is where she was born. Uh, Ellen Gordon. So, see here, we know who this person is, and then Alexander Gordon. So, this is obviously Matthew. For some reason, he just put like Alexander Gordon. I don't know why. Um, I don't know. I don't know. He obviously had a reason, so he just put Alexander instead of Matthew, and he didn't go by alias this time either. So, all right, next page. Doris Elfrida Gordon. Um, this is when she was born. See her parents. You already know these two already. Uh, Next is Lulatia Gordon, grand aunt. This is when she was born. See the parents. You know these two. So we have Princess Gordon. So this is as you know, this is my great great grandmother. So this is, I guess, their child. This is their child. She was there present at birth. Um, Next is Ivan James, my grand uncle. This is when he was born. This is his mother's name. So now we're in this is Princess Gordon's children. Um, so yeah, mother Princess Gordon, no father not stated. Alexander Gordon was the informant. So this is her father. So you already know. Next is Esselin, no surname on record. So my grand aunt. She was born. Her mother, Princess Gordon, the laborer. Forgot to mention that over here, but pretty sure I already mentioned that from the beginning. No father. The informant is Louise Savage. This is either, as I said before, a family member, a friend, or one of those the midwives. You know, they come help you give birth. The next is Wilbert, grand uncle, when he was born. Princess Gordon is his mother. No father stated. Louise Gordon, prison at birth. You already know who this is. Uh, who's next? I restated all this before, you know, in the beginning, but you know, I just want to go, you know, deeper into it at the bottom because I want to show everything. But then again, I did say I wasn't gonna go too deep, but things happen. What else is there? Birth record of male child, the one that died. Sure, yeah. I think this is, yeah. This is one of her children that passed away. When he was born, place of birth, yada yada yada. Ruben Gordon, you already know what that is. So was present at birth. Oof. Another male child that wasn't born that passed away. Uh, uh, so yeah, so the age of death was 6 days. No birthplace stated. Well, yeah, no birthplace stated when he died. son of Princess Gordon. Cause of death, born sick. Reuben Gordon. Here. Birth record of Gladstone George. Other son. No father stated. Mother Princess Gordon. When he was born, so where he was born. Ferdinand, so this is my grandfather. When he was born, where he was born. His mother, Princess Gordon. Now she's a domestic servant. Her occupation changed. No father stated. Even though Elijah is his father, but I guess it wasn't stated there. So same case for all of these that are not stated, or for as we know anyway. She said she had 10 children, so I don't know if those are all with Elijah, but I will assume most of them were anyway. Birth record of Thomas, surname. That's when he was born. We ran over all this already. What's next? Thomas Gordon. Yeah, Thomas Gordon, granduncle. Death. There. This was another one of Princess Gordon's children that passed away, which I went over already. Who else? Reuben Gordon. Seems he died young. What else? Gordon was present there at his death. Cause of death, pains and fever for about 2 months. Maybe something with his lungs, I don't know. Was a laborer. Let's see. Birth record of Pearline Gordon. So she was born. Where she was born, Princess Gordon. Her mother. So it seemed like maybe either all 10 children, they're either taking the Gordon last name or the Hannigan last name. So maybe some of these children aren't all Elijah's, as I said before. Some of them are just, her children with another man or other men. Who knows? But going to assume most likely that these are just all Elijah and Princess Gordon's, there's all their children. So we have Gloria Hunnigan, I spelled different again. As I said before, that's where she was born, where she was born, her mother, Princess Gordon. I'm getting really tired of reading all these because, I could just read the essays, honestly. But, just give little tidbits here and there. Let's see. Gloria Hunnigan. So when she was born, yada yada, she died one day. Who was there? Lolita Gordon. Her name is spelled different here. Before it had an I here. So sometimes, like I said, you gotta watch out for that. Sometimes they might spell their names differently on these records for whatever reason. Let's see. Next is Corinne Etilda Hannigan. This is Gordon. More than likely, her father is Elijah. So when she was born, where she was born, Corinne Hannigan. Another one of her children that passed away. He died at 5 years old. Cause of death was a pinworm infestation. Ugh, must have been bad. I can only imagine. I say rest in power to her. Death record of Elijah Hennigan. So this is my paternal great grandfather. Died December 5th, 1956, Davistown, Ocho Rios, St. Anne. He died at 61. He was a laborer. Cause of death, I already this before. Foreman was Gladstone Hennigan. This was Gladstone George. Name is spelled differently again. So, next, marriage record of Gladstone George Hannigan, spelled differently again, and Sylvia Joyce Beam. So, he got married December 29th, 1956, at Ocho Rios, St. Anne. So, Gladstone was a chef, and Sylvia, the domestic worker. Gladstone was 23, Sylvia was 21. They both live in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. As you already know, Gladstone's father, my great great grandfather, Elijah Hennigan, spelled differently here again. And Sylvia's father is Cleveland, maybe Cleveland, but they're spelled Cleveland F. Beam. The witness was Frederick J. Smith and Olive J. Soares. The officer is George M. Hammond. Next is the birth record of Jane C. Genesee. Jane C. I don't know how to say this. Deloma. Whatever. Wedderburn. This is my first cousin, once removed. She was born March 29th, 1956. Three Hills Retreat, St. Mary. Mother is Pearline Hannigan, the dressmaker, age 18. Father is not stated. Birth record of Sharon Andrea Coley, another cousin. She's when she was born. She was born in Victoria Jubilee Hospital, Kingston. So again, her mother is Pearline. Birth record of Dean Martin Coley, first cousin. So when he was born, same hospital. Again, mother's Pearline. So whoever the father is, the last name is Coley. Coley. Marriage record of Tivy Ashraft Coley and Pearline Hannigan. So I guess this is the father. This is when they were married. This is where they were married. Tivy was a corporal of police, and Pearline was a dressmaker. Tivy's age was 34. Pearline was 35. They lived in the same residence. Tivy's father was Luther Coley, and Pearline, as you know, Elijah. These are the witnesses and the marriage officer, Ernie P. Gordon. So, this might be, maybe it's a distant relative, who knows? Or not distant. Oh, yeah, distant. But, the next is, let's see. Aldane Hugh Coley, another cousin, was born here. This is the date. Mother Pearline and Tivy. So now Tivy's name is being put down. Next is my grandma, Ivani Yulali. Excuse me. You already know about her already. Unita Almarin, no surname. She's my grandmother's sister. Who next is Landsworth Altamont Chambers. This is my grandmother's brother. Gladstone. Maybe they meant to put Gladstone. Gladstone White and Evadne Dixon. So this is, I guess, my grandmother's first first marriage. So when they got married, this is where they got married. Let's see. So Gladstone was a Mason. Interesting. My grandmother was a seamstress. Gladstone was 25, and my grandmother was 22. Just out the way. They both lived in the same place, Craighead, Manchester. Gladstone's father is Cyril White. And obviously, as you know, my grandmother's father is Jocelyn Dixon. The witness was Audrey Foster and Sydney Francis. Sorry. Witness. The marriage officer is Zadok Reed. And I said sorry about that. Listen, if you don't got nothing to be sorry about, then don't say sorry. Alright? So, let's see. Ferdinand Hannigan and Evadne Eulalie White. So these are my grandparents. This is when they got married. So I guess this is my grandmother's second marriage. This is when they got married. Where they got married at. Women's condition. So at the time, she was divorced. So my grandfather was a jeweler, and my grandmother's still a dressmaker. Ferdinand, my grandfather was 34, and Evadne, my grandmother, was 28. So she's 28 here, and she's 22 here. So either she was married for 6 years, or she got divorced, or maybe it was less than that. Who knows? But either way, she remarried to my grandfather. So Ferdinand's father, as you know, is Elijah. My grandmother, Evadne. Her father is Jocelyn Dixon. The witnesses is Lincoln Hannigan and Nesta Dixon. So this is my Aunt Nesta, or my grand aunt. But we call her Aunt Nesta. So Lincoln Hannigan, this is a family member, obviously, for Ferdinand. Marriage officer is Fred Linyard. Next is my aunt Michelle Ann Marie Hannigan. See here, her parents, as you know already, is when she was born. Birth record of Grayson Paul Hannigan, my father. So when he was born, where he was born, his parents, as you already know, Elijah. This is not Elijah, Ferdinand's father, but he's named after. I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe he is, but his name is Elijah also. This is my uncle. So when he was born, his mother is Maud Ellis, and his father, I don't know who his father is, but Ellis was also who Elijah married a lady, Ellen, I think her name was. Yeah. So next is the death record of my grandfather. You can see So when he died at. I already went over this already. Uh, so it looks like my aunt was the informant. This is the last page. Elijah Ilhannigan, this is my uncle, and Tenish Clark. This is my aunt. They got married here. See, the December 4th, 2004. So where they got married. See, Elijah was an air condition technician. Tanish was a sales clerk. This is their age. Where they live. You already know. This is my grandfather. You call it Tanish Clark. Father here. This is Dervin Clark. Just the witnesses there. And this is Eustace Clark. So I'm guessing this is probably excuse me. It's probably you know, Tanish and Dervin's relative, most likely. So Elijah Ilhannigan and Janice or Janice, I'm gonna say I guess her name is Janice Michelle Baker Hill. So I guess he got divorced from Tanish. So he got married 2014. Here we go, July 7th. That's where they got born, yada yada, divorced. Occupation, stage, where they got born, this is where they live, Or it's Baker, niece's father. Witnesses there. The marriage officer. Now, death record of Evelyn Hibbert. This is my, as you know, great grandmother. This is my grandmother's mother. Died June 1977. She died at Public General Hospital, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. She was born at Manchester. Died at 65. She was a dressmaker, just like her grandmother. Cause of death: carcinoma of the breast with metastasis, whatever. Maybe some kind of cancer, maybe breast cancer, maybe. As you can see, the informant was my grandmother. So she got her funeral or her burial to be set up this year, and that's it. So yeah, this is my family, paternal side of family genealogy so far. As you can see, don't see anybody with no African or nothing like that. Everybody's born in Jamaica or Zamaica. Yeah, so far going back to 1800s. So I'm gonna try to go back, farther than that, see what I can find. If I have any trouble, anybody is free to help. What else? Oh yeah, next I'm gonna be doing when I get the results back. My mother's side of the family is from she's from Saint Lucia. That's my mother. My mother was born in Saint Croix, but her whole family comes from Saint Lucia, or as the island is, the original name is Ayanola. That's the original name of the island. So far from what I've asked my grandparents, they don't know nothing about no Africa, so don't know nothing about that. No, I know so far my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. I asked her. I actually have the funeral, the pamphlet. for my great grandmother on my mother's side, my maternal great grandmother. Uh, so yeah, and I have information about my grandfather too, great grandfather on my mother's side. Um, uh, Another occupations. He was a fisherman, and my great grandmother was a laborer. So there's that. Um, I asked, you know, he says she's always been on the island, all the family, as far as she's known. Um, she told me about. I actually have a video up on one of my YouTube channels. Do an interview with her. She'd tell you everything. I wish I could have, gotten into all this with my grandmother on my father's side. I could have asked her too. Did the same thing, but can't change anything. So already things already as it is. So you know nothing about that. Just gotta move forward and do the best you can. Um, what else? Yeah. So I asked my grandfather, which is on my mother's side. I asked him the same thing. He said, both of my grandfather and my grandmother, my mother's side, they're born in Micoud, Saint Lucia, and they speak French Creole or French patois, yeah. And you know Jamaica they speak it's called patois, but uh yeah. So Saint Lucia, most of the Lesser Antilles, that's where they speak the French Creole, French patois. Um, yeah. So that's the Lesser Antilles. The Caribs, Greater Antilles, the Arawak. So those are my two people. Either way, they're all the same people. They both come from South America. Speaking of South America, yeah, I asked my grandfather. I asked him, by his family, and he said, his family's always been there in Saint Lucia, as far as he knows. His relatives. His mother was born in Saint Lucia. He told me. I remember he told me it was like they had like a little huts or like just like little homes. So when people were born, they didn't go to hospitals. They were born inside your home, and they had like the midwives. Like I said before, they come in, you know, help deliver the baby and write down everything in the records, etc., etc. So yeah, things were different back then, as I'm sure you all know already. Yeah. So I asked him. He said his father, he actually came from South America. He's from French Guyana, and if you've seen on my story, I've actually posted some, the French Guyana Indians, and they're dark skin. They look like what you would call Negroes. So you already know how that goes. So yeah. Um, so that's my next thing. I'm gonna be trying to do my genealogy for my maternal side. I'm gonna try to do that. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Try to go back as far as I can for the rest of this on my paternal side. So I don't know. Hopefully we can get that all situated and sorted out. And like I said, if you have anything to offer to help, I be greatly appreciated. So thank you for tuning in. Take your time to listen and watch the video. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad I got this far. So try to go a bit further. That's it. But yeah. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So yeah. Stay tuned. See y'all next time.